Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and if you can't sleep, good midnight. So, today I'll be walking you through how I did a recent project that has been in my head for a while now, and I finally be able to get it out finally. So, the project is all about using a recommendation system that recognizes your emotions and then it recommends movies based on that emotion. So basically that's the whole summary of the project. And we're going to be going through the process of how I've created that and hopefully you enjoy. So let's get right into it. So first of all, we we're going to use some data that we got from IMDb. Actually, I got the data from Kaggle and it's an IMDb data set. So I'm going to put the link to, or I'm going to put the data on a link that you'll be able to see that. So first of all, this is the data right here. Followed error, sorry about that. Okay, I'm having trouble loading it with Jupyter Labs. Okay, let's just skip that part for now. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to try and upload the data on the notebook. So this is Jupyter Notebook if you're wondering, and I'm currently in this folder, and this here is the notebook I'll be using. It's named data preparation. So first thing we're going to do is to import pandas. So import pandas as PD, the usual things. Basically, for this thing, we're only going to be using pandas, so it's not a lot of libraries that we're going to be using for now. Others will still come later. So I'm going to name my data as movie data, and all right. So the first thing we're going to do is to PD read CSV. It's a CSV file, if you're wondering, and so the name of the movie data set is moviegenre.csv. That's the name of it, and I'm just gonna put that in here. Bear with me. Oh, I forgot to put this one here. Okay, so that's that. So for some reason this isn't uploading. I'm having the Unicode error. So UTF-8, that's the format in which the whole thing is stored. I'm guessing that's why I've been having trouble with this. So what I'm going to do now is I went to Google and I found that this was what worked for me, and this is the encoding that we're going to use. I'm just going to copy and paste this one right here. So it's ISO. So this. Hopefully this works. Let's see. And voila. So let's just explore the data set a little bit. The thing about the data sets from Kaggle is you don't really have to do much cleaning in a lot of cases, and this is one of those cases. So we're not really going to do much on the cleaning part. It's basically just a transformation I'm going to be doing. All right, so the first column here that we can see is the IMDb ID. So like I said, this is a data set from Kaggle, and the data set is an IMDb data set. I think it's about 10,000 or something movies. I'm just gonna check that later. Okay, so we have the ID, we have the links to the movies, we have the title. You can see this on the Toy Story, Jumanji, Grumpy Old Man, and we have the IMDb score and the genre. So this is going to be the column that's going to be the most important. And lastly, we have the poster. So that's the picture of of the movie, because I'm very sure a lot of people haven't watched Grumpy Old Man from 1995, because we're in 2024 now, and a lot of people won't know the movie unless they see the picture. So this is also important. So this is going to be used mostly in the front end part, and this is the title and then the link. Okay, so moving on. So how the system is going to work is this. So this is going to be our most important column here, the genre or genre, as some people pronounce. So each of the movies have their own genres, right? And the recommendation system is going to ask you what genres you want to see for a particular emotion. So what I'm trying to say is this. So let in the front end part, for example, we're going to have something like this. Sorry, just having trouble connecting with this. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, that was not running. All right. Okay. All right, I'm going to explain all of this later on. I promise. You can trust me on that. Okay. So let's just open another page for this and just close this one. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, this one works. So I'm just gonna explain how I'm trying to make sure. Okay, so coming back, thank God it's worked now. So what's happening here is, so for each of the emotions that you feel, you can choose a particular genre that you want to see. So let's say I'm angry now and I want to watch a movie. What I'm going to suggest for the recommendation system to give me is, let's say I want movies that are action, I say crime, thriller, and sci-fi and war, sports. Okay, you can put sports. Yeah, so let's say these are the genres that I want to watch when I'm angry. So that's why the genre column, sorry, is going to be very important for us to have now. All right, so back to data preparation. Like I said, I promise I'm going to come back to this one. Okay, so for the genre column, you can see each movie has its own genre, and all of them are divided by this. So we need to find a way to divide and not basically divide. We just need to know. It doesn't need to know the. We just need to put this in a format that we can easily read or read better, and we need to know all of the genres that are available in the data sets. Okay, let me just quickly expand this so you have more examples. All right. So basically, what we're going to start here is the transformation. So let's head on to that. So if I do movie data genre, okay. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong. That's one of the annoying things about Python sometimes. If something is in lowercase and it's meant to be in uppercase, you can have some issues. And the annoying thing is, you will probably not be aware of it until 2 days later, once you're frustrated. Okay, this should be split. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to split each of these genres by this character here. So This is the movie genre. This is the movie genre column, and we're splitting it with these functions. And this is it right here. This is a character that I usually use all the time. So there we go. Okay. Sorry, I had some trouble finding that character because it's not something I use a lot. Anyways, so we're gonna expand equals to true. Okay, let's see what that gives us. Okay, so now we can see that each of the genres have had their own columns, and so we have 3 columns here. So that means for this data set, all the movies have a maximum of, I think some movies have a maximum of 3 genres that have been assigned to them. Okay, so for example, index 0, Toy Story here is animation, adventure, comedy, and we can see that the same index here is giving us the same thing. Alright, so moving on, the next thing we need to do is to try and get the unique genres from this. And to do that, what we're going to do is, okay, so what I'm going to do is, I wouldn't recommend this, but I'm just going to be adding the functions to the end of this. For example, I'm just going to be, just adding them to each other. And it's my look lengthy. It's just to show you the progression of how it's going. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is to stack them, and what that's going to give us is this right here, and this is a stack function from pandas. Okay, so we can see that for each of the movies, all of the genres have been turned into a series. Okay, all right, so we have the level, this should be the level 0, and this should be the level 1. All right, and so what we need to do now is to drop this particular level so that we can have just this, and this. And you're going to understand what I'm saying in a few seconds. Just bear with me. Okay, so we need to reset index and drop is equals to true. So basically this will just reset the index of the series that we're having. So the level we're going to drop it to, or we're going to drop the level 1, like I said. This is what we need, and we're going to have multiple zeros. So that's for each, let's say for Toy Story now. Toy Story is 0, right? And if Toy Story has animation, adventure, and comedy, you're going to have 0, 0, 0, and those are going to be the genres for that particular movie. So you're going to see some of the indexes being duplicated a lot. All right, so enough talking. So drop equals to true, level is level 1, and we're going to do dot unique. All right, so this is going to give us this. All right, so we can see the, okay, I'm sorry, I just need to show you guys how I did this one. Okay, so now, like I was saying before, so for each movie, if it was 0 here, I can see Toy Story, it had these 3 genres, and now we have them here. Then for Jumanji, okay, the last other one isn't sure, but first of all, we see action and adventure. Then we can see here action and adventure 2, and family should be the next one, but Jupiter doesn't like showing all of the results, and trust me, you don't really want to see everything at once because it can get annoying scrolling up and down. Okay, so what I need now is the unique, and I have this, and these are all of the genres that we have in this data set. So we have animation, adventure, crime, thriller, sci-fi, war, sports, reality TV, and game show. Film noir, I'm not sure what that is, but I think it sounds like films that are in black and white. But don't quote me on that. Okay, so we have this one now. And the next thing we need to do is for us to drop the columns, or so it's for us to drop the rows or drop some of the fields that are empty. And trust me, that is an important step. So I think that's the only part of the data cleaning that we'll need to do. So okay, I'm just gonna add on space here just to make it a bit more presentable. Okay, so let me just put this one as data cleaning. Okay, so about this, I usually have this problem with my laptop. It goes from keyboard usually has some problems sometimes. Okay, so first thing I need to do is to let's just do data cleaning. This part isn't really data cleaning. Okay. Just gonna change this one to Markdown. Okay, let's go. And we have the movie data genre. Movie data genre. Equals to. Okay. To be honest, I don't need to type this one again. Just going to take this. Sorry, just bear with me. Just trying to see some things. Okay, so the next step. Okay, yes, like I said, we're trying to drop all of this. Sorry about that. Okay, so in place equals to true. Usually I should be doing this one first, but there's really not much difference. Okay, so movie data, the drop any in place equals to true, and the next thing we're gonna have okay, so for just a few things that we need to clean in the data, well, again, what I'm going to do is to drop all of the null fields as usual. Trust me, if this step isn't done, what you're gonna end up having is a lot of problems along the way. Unnecessarily wrong information in some cases, but some of the things I've tried to do have given me errors, and I've ended up having problems with them. Okay, so we're dropping this, and I'm going to set in place equals to true, so I don't have to change it again. Okay, so now what I want to do is, in order for me to easily read what genre each of the movies are, I'm going to turn each of them into lists, and that's going to make things easier for me in the long run. Okay, and how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take this line here. Just going to take this line here, so I don't have to type it again. Okay, And you can see that if I do this, so from the genre column, if I split them by this character, we're gonna get this. So I'm not setting expanding to true. I'm just leaving it at this because I want them to be in a list. And I'm going to make that my new movie data genre column. Okay. Voila. And now we have a new and clean data set. So let's go. Okay, let me show you this one first. Okay, we have that, and just gonna show this up before I export it. Okay, so now we can see that our data set is ready, and now we can use this to start the whole process. And just for me to export this to, just gonna export this as clean movie. Okay. CSV. Okay. I'm going to set index equals to false. So I do not want that in the data set. Okay. So now we have. Okay, I've already saved the one I did before. It's clean movie. So I'm going to think of a name. Cleanest. Now I'm going to give you a very bad name. Cleanest movie. Of course, that's what we're going to use. And I do this. So this is now produced. I can open it. You can see how this is our new data set and no null values. And this is what we have. All right. So the next part we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly explain how the basic part of the facial emotion recognition works, and it's going to show us how it's recognizing emotions and how it's reading the emotions for us. And what's going to happen is we're going to use the emotions that the FER reads, and we're going to combine that with the genre of the movies, and we're going to use that to recommend the final things for us on Streamlit. All right, so let's get ready to go to the next part. Okay, so moving on, the next part is the FER model. And we can see that here, developed by Justin Shank a few years ago. And the model depends on TensorFlow and OpenCV. So those are the libraries that's going to need. So right here we can see from FER imports FER, and then we're just importing OpenCV, which is CV2. So for the project, I created a function getEmotion, and in the function we have the FER model that has, or the FER model that has an FER instance here, and the instance is the MTCNN, which is a multi-cascade convolutional neural network. That's basically it, and that is set to true, as you can see. So we're saving this instance in the detector variable right here, so that is going to be our FER instance save there. So next up we have the OpenCV reading from my webcam, which is set as 0 in most cases. I'm saving that with a cap, and if it is opened, the OpenCV library reads from my webcam and is able to give us an image and results. And what we have is, once we get a result here, we put it in a while loop so that we can get these outputs. So basically what we're doing this while results here is that because the whole model takes time to detect the emotions. So that's why we're doing this right now, or that's why I did it. So I want you to keep on looking at the images, and I want you to keep on reading the frames that are being gotten from my webcam, and I want you to give me the top emotion once you detect something there. And once you've detected something, you can break the while loop. So basically that's all what this is saying right here. That's the simple explanation. But just to go further, we can see our cap is our webcam feed. So while this is reading, we have a result, an image. So this is just here to show the image. Not compulsory, but you can just put it there to see some things that you're looking at. So we have, if the length of what has been detected is more than 0, then I want you to return the top emotion for me. So this particular function here detects the emotions, and if you try it out on your own, you'll see that there are some frames that it doesn't detect anything. So that's why we have to keep on waiting for a while, which is why this is in a while loop. We have to keep on waiting for a while until this detects something. And once this detects something which is greater than 0, once it detects something, we know that, okay, we can move on. So emotion name and score is what is gotten from this. Okay, so the detector variable, which is the FER instance, gets the top emotion from the image that we have. And this top emotion right here is this. So you can see neutral is our top emotion, for example, and this was gotten because if you look through all the emotions here, you can see that it has the highest score. So that's why that was chosen right there. Okay, so we have detector, top emotion, and we're given our emotion name and the score. So these are just to display those for you. And once we've gotten our results right here, we're able to break the whole cycle. So we can release our webcam, and then we destroy the testing window, which is just this one here. Okay, then we return. So basically that's just a simple explanation. There's a lot more that's in it, but that's just a brief summary. So let me just try this one time and let's see it work. So import libraries, get emotions. So what's gonna happen now is this is going to look through my camera, and until it detects something because of this, it is going to keep on running. The camera is going to keep on looking at my face to try to detect an emotion. So once it detects an emotion, we can see right here that this is the result that it gives us. So this is what we're going to use in the back end of the project, and let's see how it goes. So moving on. So the next part is that we're going to use this to get our emotions. And like I said before, we have them right here. So if the emotion that we got, for example, now here is neutral, what happens is the genres that we have before, which are, let's say animation adventure, we have, okay, let's just choose comedy, action, and family. Okay, so once this neutral has been detected right here, the app is going to say, okay, get me the movies that have the genre of either comedy, action, or family. So that's what we're having for that. And let's move on to the next part. Okay, so The next part is I'm just going to show the front end part of the project, and this is just basically using Streamlit to display our recommendations, and I'm just going to combine the FAR library that we used before to detect our faces, or to detect our emotions rather, and going through that, what I imported, these are what the things I just imported, everything we've been using so far. Then I've been using, presently in a virtual environment now, and I've installed Streamlit and installed TensorFlow and installed all of these that are involved right here. So let's move on. So presently we have the genre choices. We have the choices that we have, the animation, adventure, and everything else. So these are basically the things that we've gotten from this array right here. Just going to quickly going to show this. So this is everything that's right here. That's it for you. Now, these are all the genres we have, and these are all the emotions that we have, or that we have. We have anger, disgust, fear, and happiness, and some of the other ones right there. Okay. Then for the next line, we are going to be having two pages. We're going to have one where we set up our preferences, and that page is going to allow us to choose the movies that we want when we are experiencing a particular emotion. So if I'm angry, then I'll be able to say I want to watch action and I want to watch thriller or something like that. Then the next one we have is recommendations page, and that is going to show us the movies that the project has recommended for us. Okay, so for the first page we have set up preferences, and this is basically just a Streamlit form that we're going to use, and we're going to have all of this to choose which of the preferences we would like to have. So I'm just going to quickly run this one right here for you. We have Streamlit run Pi. So the name of my script here right here is AfterPy, so that's why that is that. So we're just gonna quickly see this. Hopefully it's very quick. Okay, not as quick as I wanted, but okay. So you can see this is basically just the choices and the preferences that we're going to make for each of the emotions. So you can see all of it, and here we have all of our different genres, and you just need to choose what settings you would like to have. Okay, so the next part we have is this, and that is our FER library that we're using to detect our emotions. So FER library, I've showed that in the previous, I've shown that previously. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, so we have this form right here, okay? And if I'm angry, I choose to have, let's say, action and crime. Then if I'm feeling disgusted, let's see, I'll probably want something that will, okay, let's say drama and fantasy, for example. You can change this however you want. Fear, let's say thriller, horror, and let's say action. Happiness, animation, adventure, comedy. Sadness, let's see, is anything that's sad? Okay, something to make us happy, comedy. Now we have surprise, and let's use thriller, fantasy, something. Now neutral, I'm just going to choose anything here. We haven't chosen from this ones right here. We have film noir, talk shorts, whatever, music, documentary, sports, for example. Okay, so we've chosen our preferences for now. Now the next part that we need to do is to detect what emotion we have. So first of all, this is going to save all of our preferences. I'm going to come back here in a minute. So saying if submit, I want you to do all of this. Okay, so this part here is from what we've seen earlier, and that is this right here. So it's basically just me carrying all of this code because I don't want to start typing all of this. Now, I've just carried the code that I wrote here into this part here. So once we press submit, what's going to happen is it's going to detect our emotions, and then it's going to return a variable to us. Okay, so we can see that there. Now what we have is, so I'm just going through this again. Right, okay, so we have our emotion name right here. So this is the part that we're getting. So this is what is going to be stored as our emotion, right? And so we're going to know the emotion that we're feeling right away. Now, for this part, we can see this right here is going to help us to know which is going to help us to determine which of the genres that we're going to store in this variable right here. Okay, so if we're feeling angry, for example, it's going to be stored in this one right here, and these genres right here that we can see. So whatever we've chosen, all the preferences we've chosen for anger is in anger genres. Okay, and if we are feeling angry, it's going to be stored in this particular one. And then the same thing goes for the other emotions too. All of them are just going to be represented as this right here. Now, if is not in session state, now this is just trying to help us to create a session state, because Streamlit does a lot of reruns and we don't want to lose what we've stored here. So we're just going to store it as this, and it's going to show us completed. Now to show that to you, I'm just going to quickly come here. Now we've chosen all of these. Okay, we've chosen all of the genres that we have at our preferences. Now what I'm going to press is please wait on the computer to show. Okay, so I'm going to press submit, and it's going to scan my face, and let's see what emotion I'm currently feeling now. Just wait. Okay, it says I'm feeling neutral. We should show you movies for that. So it's going to recommend movies that are related to these genres right here. So what we now have is this. So neutral genres, that's what we've chosen. And once we've chosen it, we've gotten our neutral genres right here. Now we have if emotion name is equals to neutral, so we have neutral. Our emotion genres is going to be equal to what the different things that we've chosen for the neutral emotion. Okay, so next up, this right here is just front end part of Streamlit. You can look that up. So this is just saying that it's been completed, and we can move on to the recommendations page. Okay, so now when we change the radio button right here to recommendations, what happens is, well, it's going to be going through a filtration. So we're having a function right here, and the essence of this function is I want you to get the emotion that we're feeling now. I want you to get its preferences and get those genres. And once you've gotten those genres, for each of the movie that we're going to be going through, I want you to see if any of those genres that we've picked for the emotion that we're feeling at that time I want you to see if any of those genres are in the genres that that particular movie that we are on has. So, in simple terms, I'm just going to try and explain that again. If I'm angry, for example, and I've chosen to watch action, now while this function right here is going through all the movies, now let's say I'm at the Toy Story movie, for example. Now, if Toy Story has action, I want you to recommend that to me because I am feeling angry at that point, right? But if Toy Story does not have action as part of the genres that it has, then I do not want you to recommend that for me. So basically, that's the whole point of this right here. So we can see filter movies, filter mobs or whatever. We have two functions, and what this is saying is for each of the genre in the genre list. So as we can see, this is the preferences that we've chosen. So for each of these, I want you to go through the list of genres that a particular movie has. So you can see that's in the description here. If the genre is present, I want you to return true, and then we can move on to the next movie. Okay, but if it doesn't return true, I want you to go to the next genre that we've chosen, if there's any, and see if we can find any of those genres in that movie. And this is basically just a counter to let us know that, okay, once we've gone through all of the genres in a particular movie and we see that our preferences doesn't match that movie, then we can just skip that movie. So we're going to have false here. And the reason why I'm using true and false is because I'm using the apply function from pandas, and the combination with the lambda function. Okay, so we have X right here, and those are each of the movies. Those are each of the movies that we are having. And then the next thing we have is our session state, because we didn't want to lose this. So look through the preferences that we have. If those preferences are in the genres, if any of those preferences are in the movie, then recommend the movie. So basically that's all this is. Okay, so moving on, you can see here, for example, okay, I'm just going to go here so that we can see the kind of movies that we're going to check. So these are the recommendations that we are having as of now. Some of these are not sure because the links are not good, but for these ones that we have, these are the ones that we have. These are the ones that we are going to be shown when we are neutral, that we've chosen already. So all of this is basically just Streamlets. Now, you can change this however you want if you feel like it. Now we have the different columns and their arrangements and I'm using the Streamlets columns here. So we have the different columns and their arrangements. Then we put this into groups. Okay, so what I did here was for each of the groups in this, I saved each of these as a list. So for each of these, I've created a container, because when I checked through the docs, that's what I found to be the best solution. So I use the container to say for each of the movies that we're going to have. So basically that's what this block is. I want you to write the recommended movies title, and I want you to show an image of the poster. So this is a sample right here, and this is just what we're having. These are the first 10 movies that we have. Okay, so we can see here we have documentary, for example, and remember that documentary was one of the things we chose when that was there, when we were choosing our preferences. So we have a green without a cat, and this here, right here, is the link to the picture or the poster of the movie. And what we're gonna see right here is how this is being displayed around. Okay, it's not being displayed. Okay, it's just showing different ones. Okay, so we can see how these ones right here are the titles that we have. You can see these are the ones we chose right here, and what we need to see now is, okay, the sample will just choose some random movies for us. And you can see these ones are just going to be random ones, so they won't correlate with that. Forgot that I should have used the head sample right here instead of this. But yeah, this just shows random movies for us, so it wouldn't necessarily correlate with what we have here. But these, if we look through these ones, these are some of the movies that we've said that we want to show or we want to see when we're feeling neutral. And basically that's the whole thing about the project. So like I said, just to summarize again, we have our genres. Now we choose our preferences right here, then we submit. So each of our preferences are saved in any of these. Now this right here just shows us, this right here just shows us, or just detects the emotion that we're feeling at that point. And once you've detected that emotion, I want you to get the particular genres or preferences that we're going to need to filter the table. And if we're feeling sad, we get the sadness genres. These are our preferences, and we save it as this. Okay, so the one we felt that time was neutral. So if it's neutral here, we save it as emotional genres, genres from emotion, if you get what I mean. But yeah, so we have the neutral genres, and we saved it as that. We're using this so we don't lose our variable. Okay, now recommendations page. This is basically just arrangement of the movies, and for this part here, we have if that genre that we've chosen from our preferences, or the list of preferences that we have for a movie being neutral, if it's in a particular movie, or if a movie has any of those preferences, then I want you to show me that movie. So basically that's the whole summary of the whole thing. So this right here is just basic front-end designing. And yes, so thank you for sticking with me for this long. That's just a brief summary of how the whole project goes. And you can see for action groups. Okay, yeah, this part's just the front end. Okay, now we have our recommendation system right here. Now there are different ways we can change how the style is. Just need to change a few blocks of code. Then if we want to see different movies every time, because presently it's just going to show the first movies on the data frame. If we want to tell it to show random movies, you can put that into the code, but basically this is just a utilization of the FER model, and basically the whole computer vision of recognizing emotions, and then we're just using that here to recommend movies to ourselves. So thank you very much and have a lovely day.